I agree with him. It's a mind process. It's a mind process.
And which one?
CBS. CBS. Thought is something that happens in the brain.
Thought is something that happens in the brain. Whatever it is, we kind of.
Well, it's a mental process, and it's part of consciousness. It's words, pictures.
Very good. Thank you. And I. Oh, Leon. Okay, what's the meaning of a thought?
Thought is like an electrical signal that creates like images and
Images.
stuff like that.
Okay, great. So, because we have diverse meanings and definitions, we're gonna look at the word web's definition. Is that okay? Good. Thoughts, it says, is the content of cognition. It's the main thing you're thinking about. So give me a thought.
Hunger.
Hunger. And you?
Yeah, I'm stumped on this.
It's not thinking. Rubik's Cube for him.
All right,
Rubik's Cube.
great.
I'm constantly thinking about things that I need to do, so my thought, it's
Give me one word that would describe that.
Action.
action.
Action, right? And the
Thinking,
image,
work. Doing my work.
and the image would be.
I work with computers, so.
So you in the computer,
Mhm.
yeah? Okay, great. Sylvia?
Yeah. Me walking.
Walk. All right. Let's have a look again, and then we'll come back to those words. The word verb again says, because here it talks about cognition. So I looked up the meaning of cognition. It's the psychological result of perception and learning and reasoning. Okay, it all happens in the mind. It's a mind process. So of course, because thinking was mentioned, thinking, according to the word web, is the process of using your mind to consider something carefully. So it is a mind process. So now we're talking about the mind. What is the mind? There are many definitions, of course. So I better just look at the word web definition. That which is responsible for one's thoughts and feelings, the seat of the faculty of reason. And would you mind giving me your definition of the mind?
To me, the mind is in the whole body. The body has its own intelligence and communication language.
Very good. Thank you. And
To me, mind is only something that occurs in your brain. Like, that it's here.
all right.
It's not a full body process. And so, yeah, that's what it is. Your mind is specifically thoughts and ideas. It's not related to any sort of emotive or physiological response.
Okay, great. And
I'm gonna go with that, but also wherever else you have neural connections. So your
why
stomach,
is
your
that?
they connect to your brain. So whatever happens in the nervous system and your stomach and your heart, they do affect your brain quite a bit as well. So it's all
it's
tied.
both mind-body process.
Yeah.
Great. It corresponds to CBS. So it also talks about feeling. So there's two meanings there in the word web. One is it's a vague idea in which some confidence is placed. Another one is it's a physical sensation that you experience. So which one would you?
I'd say it's probably both.
It's
You
probably
get a feeling of something, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Both. One's a
Both.
word that goes with the feeling,
Uh-huh.
that goes with the physical sensation before the word.
Okay, and so which one is real? Both real.
Both are
They're
real.
both real. All right. So we're gonna come back to that meaning. Reason. It was also mentioned in the definition before. It's a rational motive for a belief or action. So, if we look at the definition of the mind, it talks about the faculty of reason. So here, it says it's a rational motive for a belief or action. And the next definition we're going to look at is the motive.
I was gonna ask, as far as reason, and just this is based on my own personal experiences, a lot of times people's reasons aren't, I think rational is a subjective word. It's kind of like, a reason is just a motive. It's not a rational motive. It could be something that is, you do out of just pure feeling and emotion, and that's the reason that there is an action taken. But I feel like rational is almost like a subjective term.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
So reason might be the mental brain faculty of judgment and discernment. But if a person gives a reason for doing something,
Yeah.
then it can be a physiological, like motivated through emotion or some scar or past histories,
Yeah.
experience of some sort.
So the motive comes from the mind
And body.
and body. So who is acting? Where are you within all this?
Well, it's from the ego.
From the ego. All right. Everyone has a definition of the ego.
I think it's just part of your mind.
So, isn't it a sense of the I feeling? The
identity.
The identity, correct? Yeah. And what's our relationship with the ego?
We hold it dear.
It's something that's protected.
Why is that?
It's kind of like I think of it as in a physical way, it's your face almost. It's like what people see, it's the perception of what people see.
And
So-
most importantly, what you see.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Because can you imagine you without a face?
Yeah.
Just, and have a look at animals. Let's say, for example, one particular breed of dogs. They look the same,
They have different personalities.
but they have different personalities. But we look different and with different personalities, correct? So
A blind person will have a sense of ego as well. I don't think it's just the image you have, it's all of your senses and your mental thoughts about what defines you. So I think as you go through puberty and you get to adolescence, you start creating that and defining things. This is me, this is what is not me. And it's a separation between everything else.
So do you think, let me look at the ego. The ego to me before I was into yoga and meditation and different kinds of new age stuff. So the ego to me is something that I want to release so that then I unite to something bigger, which is all an idea in my mind really. But, and so I formed this personality around that. I have this, what I call the enlightened personality, who wants enlightenment, who will do everything to get it, Do you have,
Yeah.
excuse me?
That's the ego talking.
How did you know that?
I know.
You work in psychology?
Yes, I work
Please come
psychology
in.
and yoga and counseling, yeah.
Yes.
I have a whole different idea about that, but this is your reason. I mean, your idea.
I mean, no problem. I'm just sharing with you
Yeah,
my That was before.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear my story of what it is and how you know. So I want to hear your story, but if you care to share, do you have? Because I really like you to sort of put it on the table so that then when I say something, I would touch on whatever it is that, yeah.
Well, I mean, I see everything that's written
Yes.
as, you know, empath down, as information that's both created from the individual as well as universal information comes down channeled, whatever you want to call it. And the ego, or the yogic egos, you know, right now, especially, I don't see a separation from body, mind, or spirit. That spirit is within us, we have our own spirit, but that it is connected to all. So when we say we're all connected to all, we're connected to all, not just the all outside of us, you know, and that all is connected to us, so we're just part of the thread, we're the sutra, part of the thread. Not that, you know, because a lot of yogic ideas is to find freedom from the body, find freedom from the ego, find freedom from all sorts of stuff, in order to unite, in order to find bliss or samadhi or whatever. What's samadhi you? I don't know. so
yeah.
yes, so I see.
I got what you're saying, because that's exactly where I was when I was in the yogic tradition. And what I did not realize at that point is that because even in my choice of food, it came out. Like I was a meat eater, then I became a vegetarian for 29 years, and then I became a raw foodist. Then I became a fruitarian. Then I investigated vegetarianism for 3.5 days. I did not eat nor drink, just so I can be more than who I am. And this desire, these ideas, is in fact the mind process. So I have, please come. And so the mind is behind all this. So I have a mind pattern for me being a vegetarian, a meat eater, a raw foodist, because I had been through all those diets. I'm a health coach now. I just graduated from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And so all these different mind patterns, it flows and penetrates other areas of our lives. So here, first let me finish the definitions and then we're going into the mind patterns. So the psychological feature that arouse an organism to action toward a desired goal. So the mind motive is now here. I am the character, I am the personality that is driven by my mind patterns to choose which food I like to choose, right? And so I have to act on it. Then I become vegetarian, I eat vegetables, but of course if Leon would be a meat eater and I would go with him for a date, I would say no. Why? Because he's a meat eater. I have aversion for that. I would go for a vegetarian guy. So that there's aversion, there's desire. There's a mind pattern generating all this. And guess who's driving that mind pattern? I am, thank you. Because I am that beingness that is trapped within the mind and the pattern. Even in scientific experimentation, they found out that when they manipulate the cortex, there was an experiment done on even sleep and also finding out how the neural pathways and the neural connections fire, you know. And they found out that they're like it's like an organization, you know. There's a relationship within those different neural connections, and even when they fire. So and they said that there's 6 seconds before you act. It's already firing. It's already wanting or directing your actions to be what it should be. So the question of this science guy is so I am like a victim. Am I like a, you know, someone abducted me? You know, but the answer of this guy who was doing the experiment is that unconsciously this is happening, but you are the one driving all this based on your beliefs, which is also stored in your memories. You see? So now, if we look at the mind patterns, it's made out of words. Yes? Our thoughts, like we gave a word before. I asked you for a word and you gave me a word, right? So first let's go to behavior. I looked at the meaning of food. Food is a substance that nourishes the body. Where did I get that definition that is totally removed from the essential meaning of it? And food is a part of the whole that is life. Vegetarian, non-vegetarian, or even not eating, breatharianism, the air has got nutrition. It's not eating, which I thought it was, and I went all the way, which is, you know, investigating eating, not eating, and then I'm back now to embracing every food item, and I found out now that I'm doing food awareness logs, meaning journals, and then my weight and my blood sugar, even if I'm not diabetic. So it brought me back to the food being used for nourishment. And then I use a nutrition tracker where I put my food in there and they give me the lowdown on what vitamins, minerals, grains, so then life becomes simpler. Why do I have to judge the pig? Why do I have to judge cooked food? It's just not necessary. And so, so here I don't want her to ask me a lot of questions, for example, because she knows I'm into investigating nutrition, for example. So that's a version that can cause trouble in your relationship, right? If it is not self-forgiven. So he also does self-forgiveness. And then because after self-forgiveness, your action will have to be corrected too. So that behavior, so that now the thought, the word has to be, I'm doing expansion and redefinition of words, so that thoughts are redefined to be thoughts that are in alignment with the primary principle of life, which is what is best for all life. All right? And so the word is now expanded to mean and redefined to mean to align to the primary principle of life. What is best for all of us, the animals, the humans, the plants, etc. Right? And so then the behavior is now corrected. And so now I'm embracing the whole. You see, I'm eating everything. And I realize it's not about the food. It's about the portions. And when we eat it, and my body DNA and stuff like that, you know. And so I log it. I look at how my body responds to food, and I change my food accordingly, meaning the portions. You know, I don't have to say no to something. Although, of course, if it's like a lot of something. well then I say, well, I saw my body's blood sugar spiking when I eat this. Let me, let's say for example, all right, so we gotta we gotta go, but I found out that a certain portion of chocolate is the one that I need, not the whole bar. So yeah, well, so if you want to keep in touch with me, I will give you a card, and I'm a health coach. So if you have friends also, thank you for coming.